Hi everyone, I'm Heather Poduska, star maker for entrepreneurs who want to unlock their potential, command any stage, and make blockbuster profits. Welcome to Thrive, the show where I bring you tips, resources, and people to help you create a brand that makes you happy and profitable. Here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Heather Poduska, and welcome to this episode of Thrive, How to Use Hypnosis for Success, with my guest, Lisa Lamont. Lisa Lamont has over 15 years experience with hypnosis, helping her clients break through their blocks so they can reach their goals. On this episode, Lisa talks to us about what hypnosis actually is and how it's different from what we see in Hollywood movies. She talks to us about how her work with entrepreneurs has really transformed their businesses, how they hit plateaus and they're not able to break through those plateaus despite being talented, smart, hardworking, and how hypnosis actually gets underneath the story that's keeping them stuck so they can move forward. Lisa shares with us practical tips and strategies that we can use right now to see real progress in our lives. Lisa also works with athletes, and she shared a powerful story of working with a baseball player who had injured his elbow, used hypnosis, and had a dramatic outcome. Lisa has a heart of gold, and I'm thrilled to share her voice with my audience. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Thrive. Hi everyone, this is Heather Poduska, and welcome to Thrive, the show where I bring you tips, resources, and people to help you create a more abundant business and life. You are in for high-value content coming to you from industry leaders who are growing their business, making an impact, and rocking their brands. And I am delighted to have my guest here today, Lisa Lamont. For over 15 years, Lisa has used the power of hypnosis to help hundreds of people make positive changes in their lives immediately. As a certified hypnotherapist and intuitive, Lisa helps entrepreneurs de-stress, work through their blocks, and make a lot more money in their businesses. Lisa believes that each person has their own story, and she gives them that space to be heard. Not only has Lisa worked with plateauing entrepreneurs, she's also worked with top athletes to help them overcome nerves and get in the zone so they can perform at their highest level. Lisa is an author, a radio show host, and the founder of Prancing Kittens, where she brings women together from around the world. Welcome, Lisa. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you, Heather. I'm excited to be here today with you, too.
Excellent. So, for some people, the idea of someone who's a hypnotist and intuitive and all of those things, they might not understand what it is, or they might have a preconceived notion about what it is, somebody with a crystal ball and wearing a turban. So enlighten our audience about what it is that you do and how that, where it fits into the stream, mainstream or otherwise.
Well, thank you so much for the introduction. First of all, right off the bat, people are afraid of the tools that I use. So my tools are very unique, but they've been around for hundreds of years. And hypnotherapy, for one, I tell people is I actually don't hypnotize people. I unhypnotize them. I help them remove the old stories that no longer serve them, these old thoughts or things that people have told them in the past. Perhaps they've been told in high school that they weren't smart or they were fat or they were ugly. And so people hold on to these old stories that don't serve them. So I actually help them to remove those stories.
Yeah, so what does that look like? Because I want people to open up to the idea of what it is and how it can be useful without being afraid. So what do you think are some misconceptions that people have about the work that you do?
Well, one of the things is that I don't have control of anyone's mind. When I'm working with somebody, I actually tell them I'm a tour guide. So if you were to go whitewater rafting, for example, and you signed up to go whitewater rafting, and I was your tour guide, and you showed up and you looked into my raft and you saw that there were no life jackets and there were old rusty cans in there to bail out the water. Well, you're not going to want to get in the raft with me. You're not going to trust me. And so as the hypnotherapist working with them, I answer all the questions before I begin. I spend between 1 and 2 hours before I actually do a hypnosis session with my clients so that they're comfortable and that they're able to share everything in their past that maybe they're afraid of or has held them back or maybe that they're angry about. So giving them that safe place to talk to me and share with me, knowing that I'm not going to judge them. That is what helps them be open to making those changes in their life. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and so you said before that it's not mind control, right? And I think that that's what people worry about, that their eyelids are going to roll back in their heads and they're going to say things that might embarrass them later. And you're saying that's not the experience. So can you say a little bit about what the actual experience is like for people?
Sure, and a lot of times people confuse it with stage hypnosis, clucking like a chicken and doing Elvis impersonations. And so I tell people that those people who go up on stage and they do the clucking chicken and the Elvis personality, they want to be up there. Only 10% of people actually in an audience are the ones that go up on stage and they volunteer, because those are typically the shy people that want to be seen in their group, or they're the extreme extroverts. And so I take that misconception out. And so what I actually do with my clients one-on-one is I have them imagine a white light above their head. I start with relaxation, to guide a white light that relaxes their body, working down their body. And once I've done that and have their eyes closed and they go through that complete relaxation through their body, I then, through hypnosis, guide them to a place that they would feel safe. I call it their sanctuary. It is a place that could be magical, or maybe as a child they loved going to a cabin at the ocean. And so I have them imagine that place that would feel very safe and special to them. And then I have them lay down in that spot. So lay on a bed, lay on a chaise lounge, lay in a reclining chair. It's sanctuary, and that is where we do the work together. This is where we remove those thoughts and where we replace it. So if somebody, for example, is introverted and they want to be able to go network it in, this is the spot where we do this. This is the spot where we tell them that they're going to go and they're going to be confident, they're going to show up, and they're going to have a plan of action. And if they want to lose weight, this is where we talk about rethinking about food simply as a fuel source and no longer a reward or comfort. And so it's reframing the thoughts, the thought patterns is where we do that.
Yeah. So why does it work differently than therapy? Why, instead of just talk therapy and processing your feelings, it sounds a little bit similar, right? That you're talking about your feelings or your experiences and open your mind up to a different way of thinking or working in the world. So why is hypnotherapy different and more effective in different ways?
Beautiful question. Thank you for asking that question. One of the reasons why is what people don't understand. They've heard about it takes 21 days to break a habit. So if people want to change their habits and start exercising, they understand it takes 21 days to break a habit. But what most people don't know is it takes double that to create a new habit. And so in order to push through a belief or an idea or a habit that you want to change, you've got to do it repetitively over and over and over for 42 days is what the studies have shown. And so when I create a custom hypnosis audio for my clients, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes that they listen to this audio. You're going to listen to it for every day, and you can fall asleep. I put people to sleep. My voice is so relaxing, and your subconscious mind never sleeps. So it's educating people to understand that your mind, even though you're sleeping, you still hear everything that's going on. And so when you listen to your custom audio for those changes that you're looking for, and you repeat that over and over, then you take on those new thoughts, those new beliefs, those new habits. And so that's where this changes versus going to a counselor. Once again, you go there for an hour and you just start to open up. I know I've been to counselors before, and I support them. They're very valuable. But what happens is after 1 hour, your time is up, and I'll see you next week. I'll see you in 2 weeks. So this enables you to keep pushing through and replacing those old thoughts and those old habits. That's what makes you successful.
Yeah, it sounds like you're not just pulling weeds, you're planting new seeds at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So how did you get involved or interested in doing this kind of work?
It's funny that you ask that, because people say, how did you get into hypnotherapy and hypnosis? And actually, it was about 15 years ago when I was homeschooling my daughter Whitney. I wanted her to go to the Seattle TV show and see the behind the scenes of how they make a TV show. And so it just happened to be that that day the guest was Dr. Bruce Goldberg, who was a hypnotherapist, and so he was the guest on the show. And I was very intrigued by the show and the experience of the show that I wanted to follow up with him. And I actually scheduled a session because I wanted to lose weight. And so I worked with him, and I lost 50 pounds through hypnosis. So I'm like, woo! So I definitely that was a powerful tool.
Yeah, so you were your own client to start with. You went through the process, and so you got to see firsthand. So, we talked before, and in your bio, I said you help entrepreneurs who have stress and blocks, and I can see where this would be so helpful. What are some of the typical ways that you see, especially entrepreneurs, then they come to you? What are those, I would say, like your top 5 checklist of struggles that people bump up against, that they can't break through to get to that next place?
Well, one of the top things is, as an entrepreneur, and I'm an entrepreneur and so are you, we wake up every day and we're unemployed. Every day we wake up and we're unemployed. And so what is it that we're going to do today that's going to make a difference? How are we going to get more business? And so even though people know the idea of going to a networking event, perhaps someone is introverted. I spoke about that earlier. And so it's making a plan of action of how are you going to go to this networking event and be successful? What is your action plan? So I kind of work with entrepreneurs on that. The other thing is, how do you connect with other people in your tribe? How do you build your tribe to come together? So I kind of am a super connector. I tell people I'm a super connector because I have this way of just reaching out and connecting people. If somebody's looking for a graphic artist, I know lots of graphic artists, but I'm like, I think your style would work well with this person. I connect people with branding. I connect people all over the place. I have a group. I have my group Prancing Kittens where I connect people.
So would you say then that the struggles that you kind of see typically are people who are lacking a certain confidence in what they do, in their maybe in their interpersonal skills? Sounds like that those are some of the areas where people maybe are struggling.
Sure. Sometimes it is confidence, but also people have been burned in the industry starting out. They work with people who don't really have their best interests at heart. They sign up and they'll pay thousands of dollars with somebody that says, if you work with me, I've got this process and you're going to make $10,000 a month. I get a lot of those clients who have been burned. And I shouldn't say burned because nobody's burned. You get lessons and everything that happens in your life. But I help them work through those blocks, or maybe they have signed up to work with a coach. A lot of coaches will send actually clients to me because they can't push through and act on the things they're supposed to act on. So it's kind of a yin and a yang there too.
Yeah, and I think that 2 things. One is, when you're an entrepreneur, it takes a village. And I think if you think one person is going to be the answer to your business success, one mentor, one program, that's just unrealistic, because there are lots of different facets to being a successful entrepreneur, and not any one mentor is going to be able to give you those things at all points in your, maybe at one point they will give you what you need, but then you grow and you need something different.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of the clients that come to you are actually getting value from the people that they're working with or in the programs, but they have this other piece that also needs to be addressed.
Yeah. And self-esteem is a really big piece that we have, because it's important for us to know that we are enough. And everybody that's an entrepreneur, they are doing what they love. And so I help them understand, and a lot of people have trouble accepting money in exchange for the services. They want to give it away because, we as women especially, we're nurturers and we want to help everybody. And so a lot of people have trouble accepting money in exchange for their services. And I explain to them that you're helping people. You're giving them a valuable service, and that in exchange, you're getting money for it. And the more people that you help because you love to do your job, the more people you're helping, then of course you're going to receive more money. So it's getting out of our head thinking that we're not good enough or we're charging too much for our services, because you're actually devaluing a person by not charging enough for your services. You're telling them, oh, I'm only worth $50. It's letting people know that they're valuable too, and that they're worth the investment of the services that the people provide. So I'm kind of helping people all the way around in different parts of the industry. So like you said, it takes more than one. It takes a village. It takes a tribe to support one another. And we do that with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that entrepreneurship, as you know, is a huge self-development process. And it's kind of like they say about menopause, anything you haven't worked through, emotionally when that happens, that everything is intensified. And I think that's true for entrepreneurship too, that it brings up your issues. And it has nothing to do with how smart you are or how beautiful you are or how talented you are, because it's the things underneath that get in the way the most. And you can hear the message. I think one of the things that's really interesting about the work that you do is you can be an intelligent entrepreneur and know that you're supposed to charge your value in the marketplace. And just in the moment that it's happening, where the exchange is happening, that whatever anxiety or self-doubt that you have pops up in that moment. And you're not in control of that.
And as a hypnotherapist, I'm a good listener, even though I'm talking a lot because of the show. But when I'm doing hypnosis and I'm talking to them, when those feelings crop up, I go back, where did it start from? Because it comes, that self-doubt is planted from somebody. Did you maybe have a critical mother that said, that's not good enough? You only got a B+. If you tried harder, you would have an A. Those old stories are still there. And so I work with my clients to find out what is holding you back. Maybe you were teased. Maybe in school you were more introverted and you didn't speak up when somebody picked on you. And so those are the thoughts that still hold you back even as an adult. If you don't know where those thoughts are coming from and understand that those thoughts no longer serve you, they don't serve you. Any thought that we feel about ourselves that doesn't put a smile on our face, that doesn't serve you, then let it go.
Well, it's one thing to know that you should let something go, and it's a different thing to let something go. You can know you're not supposed to eat that giant piece of chocolate cake, but it's a different thing not to actually, indulge. So I suppose that's a big piece of what you do, is to help people have the fortitude to do what's in their own best interest.
Absolutely. Well, you talk about eating that piece of chocolate cake, because a lot of people come to me as a hypnotherapist, even entrepreneurs, because, when we get stressed, especially as women, we want to eat. We want to comfort ourselves. But I tell people, even with that piece of chocolate cake, and I'm sharing this because you brought it up, I want to share this tip. Next time you go to eat any type of sweets or salty food, I want you to be really present with that first bite. Think about the smell, the taste, the texture, and how good that first bite feels. Then notice when you take the second bite of that chocolate cake, it's still good, but the taste is a little bit less. It's not quite as sweet. By the time you get to the fourth and the fifth bite, your brain is already, your sensors have already registered. And so this is where the speed eating comes in. You're trying to get those first two bite, the taste and the texture. You're just simply shoving food in your mouth. So I wanted to take advantage of you saying the chocolate cake.
Yeah. So how would that apply also for other things, like with stress? Is there some tool that you can, tip like that you can help us with in terms of what are the things that we should be noticing right at the beginning to sort of stop that process?
Well, the one thing that I have my clients do, and I share in my group, Prancing Kittens, is I talk about mirror love. That's the most important tool that I share with my clients to start their day. May I share how that works?
Absolutely.
Well, one of the things that I have my clients do every day is to look into the mirror, see themselves in the mirror, and they say out loud their name. So you would say, Heather, I love you. What good may I do for you today? And that's not easy, because we tend to look in the mirror and we see wrinkles and gray hair and putting that extra weight on. We're critical. We really are. And we were raised thinking magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all. So we've been taught that loving ourselves is ego, when really it's not. That's fear-based thinking. I'm talking about self-love thinking. I'm talking about love from however you believe you got here, God, energy, source, whatever it is. So that's the woman that you're looking at in the mirror. And when you say, Heather, I love you, what good may I do for you today? This is where you say all the actionable items that you're going to do out loud, not in your head, but out loud. So today I woke up and said, Lisa, I love you. Today you're going to have a great day having your podcast with Heather. You're going to share tips and tools so that you will help women empower themselves and have a great day. Today you're going to go for a walk outside in Alabama. I'm here visiting my daughter in Alabama. You're going to go outside and you're going to enjoy nature to its fullest. This is where you say the things that you're going to do. Today I'm going to reach out to 2 new people I've met on Facebook and get to know them better. Once again, this isn't about selling. Nobody wants to be sold to. We all want to build relationships and build our village and build our tribe. This is about coming together and supporting one another.
I love that. And one of the things that I do as well when I do that exercise, I do it a little bit differently, is I add in there whatever happens in the future or whatever happened, you know, if it's in the morning, whatever happens today, if it's in the evening, whatever happened today, I still love you, right? Even if you screw up, right? Even if you did screw up, if you did something wrong or didn't go as well, I still love you, because I think that we beat ourselves up so badly.
Beautiful.
You know, it's that, yeah. And you would say that to your child, right? Like, even if your child did something really horrific, as a parent, you would say, you know, I don't like the behavior, but I still love you, right? And I find that for me, that helps me like move on if there's been some setback that I'm not happy about too.
I have clients that tell me they go back sometimes 5 times and do their mirror love. Like you said, if you know, people that I even work with people that work in jobs that are stressful jobs, they'll go into the mirror at work and just say, that phone call is not going to take away your day. It's not a bad day. It's just a bad person. You're going to have the rest of the day. It's going to be really good. People also work with their children. I think it's really important to teach our children at a young age to apply self-love, because, you know, they deal with bullying at school, and this is, you know, knowing that they're good enough and reassuring that no matter what happens, I'm going to have a good day. No matter what anybody says to me, it's not going to affect me, because that's their problem. That's their issue. It's not mine.
Hi everyone, I hope you're enjoying the show. There's still more great content to come, but I wanted to take just a minute to talk to you about a new course I've created called Close Any Room. You may have noticed that all of my guests know how to speak about their businesses in a clear and compelling way. But that's something a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, and it's something you need to know how to do so you can convert your audience into more sales. And that's why I've created this course. It's a 6-week audio course to teach you how to craft a signature talk so that you can authentically give value and close more of your audience from the stage. In the class, you learn how to create a clear and compelling point of view, how to organize your content and give great value to your audience without giving away the farm, how to structure your talk so that it seamlessly closes your audience at the end without feeling salesy. And I also give you templates and instructions how to create marketing materials, a speaker sheet, and all kinds of sign-up sheets when you're giving your talks. And finally, what everybody's hot to know, I also give you tips and resources on how to find speaking gigs. It's an all-inclusive course so that you can start closing and selling more from the stage. And as my free gift to you for tuning into the podcast, I'm giving you my free webinar, also called Close Any Room, and you can listen to it at clearvoicebranding.com/close-any-room. And it will give you lots of tips and information to get you started on how to create that signature talk that sells. Okay, we're going to get back to the show now. There's still more great content to come. Thanks for joining me. So I read your bio and I didn't know that you had done this before about working with athletes. I'm really curious about that. So tell me about working with these top level athletes and how the hypnosis has really changed their performance. Because I think that I'm a big exerciser, and I think that having that peak performance in your business, but also in your body. Those things go hand in hand. So I think if you're an entrepreneur, having a peak performing body is also super important.
Well, one of the things about sports, especially younger people in sports and even older people, my boyfriend, for example, he's a really great golfer. And one of the things with golfers is that 90% of the game is in your head. A lot of people don't know that. Even Tiger Woods, who's well known, has used hypnosis to help him stay in the game. I recently worked with a young man who's in college. He's a pitcher, and he had surgery on his elbow. And instead of thinking of that surgery as being detrimental, I helped him reprogram to think of that as now the bionic arm. In fact, his arm will go faster and will be more accurate as a result of this surgery. This surgery is giving him the advantage now as pitching, and as a result, he can pitch faster. Well, guess what? After working with him just 2 months, he gets a call from the Seattle Mariners and is invited to come and try out. So, and so what I worked with him on was what a term that he liked was called pounding the zone. And this was to keep him accurate and having him imagine trying out in Seattle, in the dugout, going on the mound. So it's getting the person to visualize where they're going to be performing. And so that's why I help people to stay clearly in the zone, in the head. Working with golfers, working with Jeff, my boyfriend, he had always been the runner-up at this golf tournament it's the championship tournament, and he was always getting second and third place, and he finally said, "Lise, can you help me win this year?" And I said, "Well,
hook me up, girl."
And he did, and that year, it was 2 years ago, he won the county amateur tour, and he won it. And it was because one of the things that he had struggled with in the county am was staying in the shot, on each shot. He was thinking ahead, I've got 3 more holes to go, and that was detrimental to him. What he needed was to stay in that shot. And so I told him, no matter where your ball lands, you are going to pick up the perfect club and you're going to make the perfect shot. And so it was being consistent on that, and your putts are going to go straight and accurate and perfect. So that was what he struggled with. Each golfer, each baseball player, each soccer player, they each have their own things that they struggle with. And so I help them remove those thoughts and replace them with the thoughts that will get them the results they desire.
Yeah, and I love what you're talking about, because it's a repetitive muscle building process, and it forces you to be in the moment and to let go.
Yes.
So I screwed that up, or it wasn't the result that I wanted. I have to let that go and start completely over with my mindset each and every time. And I think that it doesn't matter if you're an athlete or an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You have to let go and keep that bigger vision. And that's one of the things that I work on with my clients, because if you don't know what your vision is, you can't shoot for it. If you're not clear on what you want, you're not going to get there. I mean, you're going to land somewhere and you're like, okay, well, I guess this is where I am. And I think that having that ability to do what you're talking about, of resetting each time and keeping your vision clear, only comes if you know what you're shooting for in the first place. Like your boyfriend who wanted to win the tournament.
Yeah. And there are no mistakes, Heather. That's one of the, we beat ourselves up and we're so critical, and there are no mistakes. There's lessons and there's opportunities. And so I help people reframe that, being critical of ourselves. And I heard you kind of be critical of yourself earlier, that, you did your mirror and, I screwed up, and I'm like, you didn't screw up. You learned a lesson here. There is no mistakes. There are lessons and there are opportunities. And so I'm calling you out. Sorry, I'm calling you out on your own show.
Good.
But it's really important for us to know that, because we fall back into the old ways if we don't stay on top of it. That's why I say every day, and I have my clients text me every day the word done, meaning that they're being accountable to me, because once again, we're going back to our old patterns and our old ways. And it's really important to stay on task of loving ourselves, because once we love ourselves, Heather, once we've given that mere love to ourselves, it then becomes about everybody else. It's no longer us. And because we've given ourselves that self-love, we don't have to receive it from anybody else, but when we do, it's a bonus. So if
Right.
if we have this wonderful interaction today, this is bonus love that we shared. But if we don't have a good interaction, but you're lovely, so I'm saying we are. But if it's not, that's okay too. It's everybody's on their own journey. So thank you
Yeah, I
for
love that.
inviting me
I mean,
today. Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here, and I love what you're saying, and I think that it's one of the things in terms of helping people with their message as well, that because being visible, and you know this, like being visible can be hard for people sometimes, and it's such an important part of being successful, and it's because of that fear that you're going to be judged, and when you can get to the point of not caring what other people are saying, and you're just standing in your own truth and your own message and loving yourself enough to get that out there, that's when the ships really start to turn and everything aligns. So I love what you're saying, and that was a very good correction on your part. So, but it's hard. It is a little bit hard because that's what we're all programmed, like, oh man, I screwed up, or so I can see where the hypnosis piece of it and that repetitive work that you do, it's not one and done. You have to keep massaging that muscle too, to
Well,
keep
and
it
a lot
going.
of people, they don't realize it, but when I work with people or I meet people, I know I should, I can't, it's get those thoughts don't serve anybody. I am doing it. This is what is happening. Don't think, well, I'm going to, or next week I will. Do it now. Stay present, stay in the moment, and do things now, and remove the talk that gives you the excuse to fall back and not follow through. Keep your thoughts following through going forward. Stay the course.
Stay the
Stay the
course.
course.
So yeah, and I think that it's so important to have people showing you the way. So what have been some of the best lessons that you've learned from people that have been supporting you and helping you on your journey to move forward? Because you're so accomplished, and you've got this great insight and this awareness. So what would have been some really important lessons for you to get there?
You ask me that and I want to cry. When I have a recent client who's 31 years old with Crohn's disease, and she's in pain, and she's given up, and the doctors are telling her they need to remove her uterus and she can no longer have any children. And when I work with her and have her come back 3 weeks later, feeling good, eating more foods, having energy, and the pain has so subsidized, reduced greatly in 3 weeks, knowing that she's excited and someone has heard her. When that happens, Heather, I know I'm doing the right thing. So I didn't mean to get upset, but you asked me, and that's
It's
why I do what I do.
beautiful.
And if
It's so
people don't know
beautiful.
I'm there, I can't help people. And so I've had to become visible. I can't be in the shadows anymore. And this is, this is hard. This, even for me doing a radio broadcast, being as a guest, it was really hard. I still get nervous. It's just like, Mirror Love, you're going to have a great, I had to do the Mirror Love because old stories, they do pop up, not being seen, not being good enough. This is something we're going to have for the rest of our lives. And it's staying in the moment, staying present and living in the present. So.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And it makes me feel so good about having this platform. Everybody does their bit, right? Everybody, you do your bit, and I do my bit, and my bit is being a conduit for people's voices, to share people's voices so that the people who do need you can hear about you. And it just is, I love how the pieces fit together in of all of the people who are trying to make the world a better place. So I really want to acknowledge you for the work that you do, for changing people's lives, for giving them not only hope, but real tools that they can use to have impact in their lives so that they can make the transformations that they want, alleviate the pain, create the lives that they want. And, anybody who's watching and listening to this interview can feel and see your enormous giving heart. So I just really want to acknowledge you for being present in your life and showing up the way that you do in the work that you do. So thank you so much. And yeah, And I always end my interviews by asking, in this moment, as we're sitting here communing together in time and space, what are you most grateful for?
I am the most grateful for my family and my friends. And I am grateful for social media, having these tools that will bring women together. My goal is for women to come together and support and love one another and no longer worry about being judged and hurt. That's my goal.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. And I'm thankful for you being here and for being my guest. And I appreciate your time and all of your wisdom. And I appreciate the audience as well. And
They
if people
can
want to
find
get
me
in touch
on
with you, Lisa,
Facebook
how do
at
they do
Lisa
that?
Lamont. My website is lisalamont.com. So everything Lisa Lamont, you can Google Lisa Lamont and I will pop up. So
I'll just put it in the chat right now. LisaLamont.com. Perfect. That's in there. And I always, and yes, absolutely. And people can find me at heatherpoduska.com. And also, as a thank you for all of my audiences, I always offer my free webinar on how to become a profitable speaker. And you can find that at clearvoicebranding.com/close-any-room. So thank you so much, Lisa, for your time and for your love and all the work that you do. I'm sending you, I'm hugging my computer screen right now.
Thank you.
And giving you. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Thrive. I loved having you here. I love having you as part of my community. And if you're enjoying the show, I would love it if you share it with your friends on Twitter, on Facebook, or wherever they're hanging out. I also want to let you know you can leave me feedback or comments. I love hearing from you. Just post those at heatherpoduska.com. You can also leave suggestions for topics that you'd like to know more about, or if there's someone you'd really like to see on the show, let me know that as well. Okay, until next time, here's to hitting all your high notes. Take care. Bye-bye.